Let's talk about recent Oklahoma quarterback commit Jamison Roberts, what he brings to Oklahoma, why he chose Oklahoma, and why Brent Venables is on an absolute heater. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. How quickly do you think Jamison Roberts could start at Oklahoma? This comes just a day after Roberts announced that he had committed to play at Oklahoma, joined the #1 recruiting class in 2027 recruiting rankings, according to 247, where he is also a top 15 quarterback. One of the things that I enjoy most about Roberts is the authenticity that he entered into this discussion with. Very wise words were said after officially committing to Oklahoma and why he chose. And I don't want to misquote him, and I want to give him all his credit because, frankly, when you see players do this, you always want to highlight it, right? You always want it to be at the top of whatever you're talking about. So I chose Oklahoma because of the people inside the building. Oklahoma has everything you need to be successful on and off the field, and I want to be a great one day. Or I want to be a great one day. Then he yelled boomer. You got to love that. Last year, Roberts as a junior, 219 of 30, which is 300. Goodness me. Completed more than 70% of his passes. How about that? We go with that, right? Let's do that. Over 3,300 yards passing, 37 TDs, just 5 picks, and also rushed for 600 yards. We get this 21 touchdowns on the ground. That's 58 touchdowns, which is a wild number, right? Even in Class 6A in Alabama, that's a wild number. All-state selection, and replaced a former Mr. Alabama football in KJ Lacey, who's at Texas now. One of the things that his head coach had to say about him and what he's been able to do at Saraland was, when you factor in how good he is now, with really 1 year of getting every rep, I think he's got a chance to be really good. He's a rising senior. He has a solid frame and will continue to put on good weight. He has such a high ceiling with just 1 year under his belt of being the guy for every snap. I think we will turn around in a couple of years and he will be doing great things there. Again, outstanding player who ended up picking Oklahoma over Georgia, Ole Miss, Colorado, Baylor, Auburn, Arkansas, and Duke. Again, officially committed on Saturday afternoon, 6'5", 210. And when you think about those measurables at the quarterback position, it is really difficult for Oklahoma fans not to salivate over what a player like Jamison could do. The measurables are there, right? You get that. But also the moxy is there. The first clip you see of him on his huddle film tells you everything you need to know. He takes a snap. He drops back. He's got 2 defenders in his face. He's about to get waylaid. You can run away from that. You can throw that ball away. You can do a lot of things. What he did was step into the throw and throw a deep post route downfield while, again, getting absolutely clocked. Wide receiver split the safety and the cornerback and caught the ball in stride, kept running. That is what you dream about as a fan, looking for a quarterback that can be a magic man, that can be a talisman, that can be a playmaker. And Oklahoma is and has always been a place where quarterbacks as playmakers thrive. And we got recent success to point at this. We've got fairly recent success to point at this. And we can even take it back to the wishbone if we wanted to, but I don't need to. I could talk about Josh Heupel at Oklahoma. I could talk about Sam Bradford at Oklahoma. I could talk about Jason White at Oklahoma. I could keep it going, man. And you know, even Trevor Knight during his last year, particularly the second half of that 2012 year, turned into a talisman. Baker Mayfield, that guy, right? Kyler Murray for that 1 year, the best player on planet Earth playing college football, got the Heisman Trophy to prove it. That's what John Mateer was doing in the first third of the season, right? And that's what Oklahoma needs to be successful. You know the defense is going to be there with Brent Venables. Now it's about, can Ben Arbuckle take John Mateer, Bo Bentley, and perhaps even a Jamison Roberts, and turn those guys into outstanding players, right? Like I think that most of us are more interested in what it is that Ben Arbuckle is about than we are what the quarterback's about. Because the quarterbacks are always going to be okay to good. We know this because that's just what Oklahoma recruits. We could talk about Jackson Arnold being okay, but not good. But we could also talk about Jackson Arnold not really being prepared for the moment that they are going to play SEC football. Like that's what I think it really comes back to is Oklahoma's first year in the SEC. You had a quarterback that was more than ready to go compete at a high level in the Big 12 and just wasn't good enough to do it. Tried to do it again at Auburn, got benched for Ashton Daniels, who did turn out to be pretty friggin' awesome in that short stint for Auburn. It would take a little time, right? And I think when we look at Jackson Arnold, it takes a few more years for a otherwise outstanding talent to mature. It's really difficult to put into context a 5-star not being ready to play right away for many people because that's just what it means, especially in this age where we expect more freshmen to be ready to play sooner rather than later. But I would not be shocked to find out that you find a guy who's rough. And every time we have these quarterback competitions or we ask about the younger guys, what the coaches say as much as what they don't say informs how I read the room. So if you have a guy who has explosive plays and you could see him finally putting it together, that's not a guy that you want to start. The guy you want to start is the guy that players are saying, I can't wait for y'all to see him. That dude is different. When they start talking like that, that's a guy that's ready to start. Is he going to win the Heisman Trophy? No. But it's not unlike the way that we expected people to talk when a great player, like Baker Mayfield would say this, and I remember this because it was clear as day. He was talking about his records, or somebody asked him about his records at Oklahoma, and one of the first things out of his mouth was, Kyler's going to break all my records. It was a foregone conclusion. Kyler's going to break all my records. And we weren't even sure that Kyler Murray was going to play college football. As a matter of fact, when he came over from A&M, that was part of the deal. Part of the deal was, I realize that baseball is the future, but I need 1 year of college football for you to justify the scholarship, to which Kyler said, okay, even after he got drafted and it became real difficult, and the Oakland A's made it easy by saying we'd be disappointed if he didn't play a year of college football. Damn, were they ever right? Because they get to be wild disappointed. Now, Kyler has since been released and is going to get paid $30 million to not play football, but can play for the A's if he wants to. But the point that I'm making there is Baker was way out in front because he'd seen it every day. If Jamison Roberts get to a place on OU's campus where players have a hard time not being superlative about him, cancel Christmas. They got a quarterback. That's just what it is. And I hope that is what happens with him.